sometimes people are out trying, they're pushing, they're getting cars, they're trying to be seen, they're doing all of this stuff. Sometimes God will hide you. And let me tell you how I know that. In my own life, I was under the radar for a very, very long time. And for the most part, I still am. Believe it or not, I really am. I was kept from a lot of things, kept from being exposed to a lot of business ideas and business situations and business thoughts, or how things were run. And by me being kept away from that, it allowed me to not be tainted by it. So sometimes you have to be hidden. Sometimes people are not supposed to recognize you. Sometimes people are not supposed to invite you to the table. You can't be angry about it. You need to accept it and find out why. Why am I being hidden? Because I tell you now, had I went the route that I wanted to go, what would have happened is I would have ended up in Hollywood and did the deals that everybody else had done, and there would be nothing different, nothing spectacular about the blessings that I've received. It would just be an average story. But because I was hidden, because I didn't know how it went, because I didn't know how things were supposed to go in film and television, that ignorance allowed me to carve my own way. I know this may be difficult for some people to understand, but hear me clearly when I say this. Because I was hidden, because nobody knew what was going on with the success that I was having on the plays, it was all underground. When I got there, I was able to make deals that were unprecedented. They didn't think there was anything to it because they didn't know who I was. Completely underestimated. The great thing about being hidden is that you can be underestimated. And when you're hidden and you're underestimated, you're able to do some things that will not only change your path, your life, but the lives of millions of people, the ones around you, your children, your family. It will uplift and change everybody and everything. So what I say to you is, if you're struggling and you're fighting to be seen, sometimes you're supposed to be hidden. It's not your time to be seen yet. Stay the course. Learn what you can. Walk in the path that you're supposed to at this time. And at the right time, God will reveal you, your talents, and everything you've done to the world. In the meantime, prepare.
We all go through times where it doesn't feel like we're making progress. We're praying, but our prayers aren't being answered. We're being our best, but not getting good breaks. The problem hasn't turned around. Seems like God went on vacation. But the silence is not a sign that God is not working. He may not be changing the circumstances, but He is changing us. God uses the seasons of silence to get us prepared. When we're not getting our way, we're doing the right thing, but we're being overlooked. Our friend got married, but we're still single. We're working harder than our coworker, but they got the promotion. We feel overlooked, undervalued, forgotten. These times of isolation where you're not being celebrated are extremely valuable. Nothing may be changing on the outside, but something's happening on the inside. Your character is being developed. You're learning to not depend on people. You're gaining experience, maturity, strength that you'll need to go where God is taking you. And you may wonder why no one is celebrating you. You're being faithful, but the door hasn't opened. You're gifted. You know you can teach that class better than the person that's in place, but they never call on you. Don't complain about the silence. God does His greatest work in isolation, when nobody is noticing you. There are things you will learn in anonymity that you can't learn anywhere else. When God is silent, that doesn't mean He's not concerned. Silence is not a sign that God has forgotten about you, just the opposite. It's a sign that He's closely watching you. He's getting you prepared for new levels, but if He brought you out before you were ready, it would stop your purpose. God loves you so much that at times He will hide you. He'll cause you to be overlooked. He'll cause the door not to open. He'll cause a person to walk away. You can be talented and hidden, anointed and hidden, have great ideas and hidden. And if you don't understand that it's God hiding you, you'll be frustrated and try to make things happen out of God's timing. But before you see notoriety, you'll go through a season of obscurity. You have to pass this test when you're hidden. But here's the key. Don't compare your life to other people's. It may seem like they have it better. They're further along. They don't have the challenges you do. Run your race. God's purpose for your life is not the same as theirs. Don't look to the left or to the right. Stay focused on your calling. You may have big dreams. God has spoken promises over you, but nobody is noticing you. You're not seeing increase, promotion. Don't get discouraged. It's because God has you hidden. You're not off course. You're not falling behind. You are in a time of preparation, a time of training. God is getting you ready for what He has in store. If you will keep doing the right thing, you will come into a time where God causes you to be seen. Promotion doesn't come from people. It comes from the Lord. When it's your time, no person can stop you, no bad break, no injustice. Just as God hid you, He will bring you out into the open. He will shine down His favor and cause you to go where you couldn't go on your own. Now, you may feel like you're hidden, but don't be frustrated, thinking you're falling behind and look who's getting ahead of me. When God brings you out, He will catapult you forward. He will make up for the lost time. When you have an expensive piece of jewelry, a diamond ring, you put it in a box and hide it. You don't wear it around the house to go work out, to run up to the grocery store. It's valuable, so you keep it hidden. And at the right time, when you're going somewhere special, you bring it out for people to see. In the same way, the reason you're hidden is because you're extremely valuable. You're like that diamond. You're going to shine. God's waiting for the right time to bring you out. You are not hidden because you're ordinary. You're not hidden because you're average. You're hidden because you're a masterpiece. God breathed His life into you. You have seeds of greatness. Don't let the silence discourage you. Your time is coming. Now, in the isolation, you have to deal with the issues God brings to light. Let Him develop you. Like David, do the right thing when it's hard. Keep a good attitude when you're being treated wrong. Go the extra mile when nobody is watching. When you're hidden, you won't see anything happening on the outside, but I can assure you, on the inside, God is doing a work. That's an opportunity to grow, to come up higher. You're getting prepared for new levels. You may not understand the path that God has taken you and why it's not happening faster, but God knows what He's doing. He uses the delays, the difficulties to get us prepared. None of us like the slow seasons, and especially the unfair seasons. We lost a loved one. A friend walked away. A dream didn't work out. It's easy to think, God, why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you heal my father? Why didn't you keep them from betraying me? But God doesn't waste anything. The difficulties, the delays, the losses, if we will keep the right attitude, it's all working for our good. It's getting us toughened up. Because where you're going, you can't be offended by every negative comment. You have to have a backbone made of steel. God can't promote you if you're going to be revengeful and try to use that position to pay people back. You have to let it go and trust God to be your vindicator. If you're intimidated by the opposition, overwhelmed by difficulties, it will keep you from your destiny. And in these silent seasons, like the Israelites, we can think, God, the promised land is that way. Why are you taking me the long route? You have to trust God. He can see things that you can't see. He knows what's best. It's all a part of the process to get you prepared, to get you developed. He knows what you're going to need. The the scripture says these light afflictions are for a moment, but they're working in us an eternal weight of glory. Somebody not being for you, that's a light affliction. That's like a little gnat. Just flick that away. Your time is too valuable to waste on petty things. But when you've been through some difficulties, through some losses, through some Goliaths, you don't complain about not getting a parking spot. You don't fall apart because somebody left you out. You don't give up on a dream because it didn't turn out your way. You know it's a light affliction and it's working for your good. Now you may be in a season of silence. You feel like you're hidden, but the silence doesn't mean God has forgotten about you. He's heard every prayer. He's seen every tear. And at the right time, God is going to bring you into what He's already prepared. God is not preparing the blessing for you. He's preparing you for the blessing. The promised land was already in place. He had to get the Israelites prepared. Favor is already in your future. There are blessings that already have your name on them. The right people, divine connections already lined up. You keep passing the test in the silent seasons. You keep getting prepared, and you're going to come in to more than you can ask or think. But what stops some people is they don't like the preparation. You have to deal with the issues God's bringing to light. Maybe God's asking you to put down your pride, forgive the person that did you wrong, or to start saying no to the compromise, no to the jealousy, no to the critical spirit. Don't let a small thing keep you hidden. Don't let something you know you can overcome keep you from the amazing future that belongs to you. You're not hidden because God is mad at you. You are hidden because God loves you so much, He's getting you prepared to go where you've never gone. Now, in the isolation, in the anonymity, where you're not seeing increase, you're not getting good breaks, like David, use that time to draw close to God. One thing about being isolated, where you don't have a lot of people or things to give your attention to, you can turn your attention towards your Heavenly Father. Learn to talk to God. Develop a deeper relationship. When you're in these seasons of silence, when you feel like you're hidden, it's so important to look inside and deal with things that could be holding you back. You can have the talent to go somewhere, but if you don't have the character, if you're not willing to forgive, keep giving in to compromise, if you don't treat people right, that will keep you from your best. Don't be frustrated when you're hidden. Jesus was hidden. Elijah was hidden. David was hidden. It's all a part of the process. Here's the beauty. You're hidden, number one, because you're extremely valuable, like that diamond. Number two, you're hidden because God is about to launch you. You're on the verge of seeing promotion, favor, increase like you've never seen. You may have been hidden for a long time, but you've been faithful. You've been growing, getting prepared. And I believe and declare God is about to bring you out. He's about to cause you to be seen. People are going to notice you that have never noticed. Keep being faithful. Your appointed time is on the way. In Jesus' name.
You deserve to be loved, even if you need to do something for yourself. Because real love doesn't have conditions. Real love takes joy when someone is happy, whatever it takes, even if it means being apart from you for a period of time or even forever. Otherwise, it's not love. It's the selfish desire to get what you want, whether it makes someone else happy or not. Some of you are in relationships where you're committed to the ship and not the relations. You're committed to the institution and you forgot the person. Because you don't even meet the person anymore. You meet your story about the person because you've told it to yourself so many times, so everything is seen through that filter. If you think someone is your dear, dear friend and they're loving and they're generous and they're a beautiful soul, and one day they treat you like you'll be shocked and you'll be angry. And if you can't resolve it, and you have to leave to go deal with something, you'll generalize their behavior later on. You'll say they're probably having a bad, what? How many of you had a day where you hope somebody generalized your behavior as just a bad day? But if somebody, you think that they don't care, or they're selfish, or they're mean because you've generalized about the human being. Because by the way, you can find selfishness in anybody if you look for it, including yourself. Whatever you look for, you're going to find. Can you find beauty? Can you find love? Can you find generosity in any human being, yes or no? Sir John Templeton's probably one of the greatest investors in history. People don't know his name. He started out with nothing. He wasn't Sir. He wasn't from the country. He came from the U.S. And he decided that he wanted to understand wealth. And so he saved $10,000, a huge amount of money in those days. And when Hitler invaded Poland, he developed a belief. His belief was, you make your money in times of maximum pessimism. Like if you were around in 2008, 9, you remember what it was like, right? Yeah. You could have bought, the Sands in Las Vegas, you could have bought their stock for $2.28. Today it's $67. Wow. It's a 3,000% return. It's not bad. You could have bought Citibank for less than $1, right? So people in those times, he understood that. And so what he did was, and everybody thought the world was going to end, he took $10,000, he bought every stock on the New York Stock Exchange that was $1 or less, including companies everybody thought were going bankrupt. But when things are bad, people think it's going to be bad forever. When things are good, they think it's going to be good forever. And they're always wrong. Life's cyclical. So there's a season for everything. So once we got through World War II and a few years later, guess what? Those same stocks made him a billionaire. So when I asked him, I said, what's the secret to wealth? His response when he touched me, he goes, you know it, you teach it. I said, what's that? He said, gratitude. And I said, why do you say that? He said, because if you got $1 billion and every day you live pissed off and frustrated, the quality of your life is called pissed off and frustrated. All right. But if you have nothing, but you're euphorically grateful for whatever you have, you're the richest person that you're going to know. He said, so it doesn't matter how much money you got if you don't have gratitude. So I do the same thing, by the way. I have a process I call it priming, where I get up every morning. I do mine in the morning. I do this radical change to my body, kind of alter my state. And then I do 10 minutes, I never miss. And my first 3.5 minutes is what I'm really grateful for. And I make myself think of at least one of those three that's something really simplistic instead of something giant. The wind on my face, the look in one of my kids' eyes, something of that nature. And then I do 3 minutes of strength and healing, and I do 3 minutes of what I'm going to create in my world. And I do that for a minimum of 10 minutes every day, because I believe you have to condition it. You don't just hope that stuff shows up.
Now, the reason that most people don't give is because they operate out of a consciousness of scarcity. They don't believe that there's enough to go around. They can't see themselves having the capacity to give. They don't believe that they have anything to offer. They don't see themselves as an opening for the universe to work through. So if you begin to look at this new era that we're in, begin to see yourself as an opening for the universe to move through, to work through, to make a difference in life. See yourself being used by life to improve the quality of life, to expand and to grow. Most people have a very limited view of themselves and a very limited view of the universe, do not see their relationship to the universe, and cannot see how energy and things can flow through them. I love Gibran and the prophet. Then said a rich man, speak to us of giving, and he answered, you give but little when you give of your possessions, but it's when you give of yourself that you truly give. Gibran goes on to say, there are those who give little of the much which they have, and they give it for recognition, and their hidden desire makes their gifts unwholesome. And we know people who give only to be recognized. I love that old saying, judge a man not by what he does, but by that he doesn't have to do. And to judge the true quality of a man is what he'd do when nobody's looking. Gibran goes on to say something else important. He says, and there are those who have little and give it all. These are the believers in life and the bounty of life. See, most people don't give, ladies and gentlemen, because they don't believe in life. Most people don't give because they don't understand the abundance in life. And so they go through life holding back on life, not understanding this also, that what you hold back from life, life holds back from you. So most of us go through life, ladies and gentlemen, not giving And we're cheating ourselves. And you're also cheating life. See, I believe that all of us have some work to do. I strongly believe that each one of us showed up to do something, that each one of us showed up to contribute something to life. And that if we don't do it, it will not be done. See, no one is going to give Les Brown's speech. No one is going to write your book. See, if you've been given something to do, and if you don't do it, what you're doing is short-circuiting the flow of the universe. See, just imagine, if you please, we had a circle and people are standing around in this circle. And let's say we were given a bucket of love. And then I pass it to the person to the right, and they pass it to somebody else, 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 and it comes back to me. One of the great things about giving is that as you give, you're going to receive. What we want to do is keep the flow going, keep the flow going. If anybody gets the bucket of love and stops and holds it there, all of us suffer. They've short-circuited the flow. They've stopped what was going on, the energy that was going around. See, you are part of an equation, and you are needed. Part of why we should begin to look at how we give up our lives is that we got to begin to see, what is it that I'm supposed to do? What is my life work? And then give ourselves to that. Because as we do that, ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee you, as you begin to take on this new era that we're in, if you decide that I'm going to begin to start living life generously, I'm going to start giving more of myself, I'm going to start putting out more, contributing more to life, here's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee you that life will take on a whole new meaning for you. I guarantee you that as you begin to give more of yourself in your work, give more of yourself in your marriage, give more of yourself in your relationships with your families and friends, give more of yourself to your talent, to your vocation, to your job or your business, as you begin to set high standards for giving that which you have been given to share in the universe, I guarantee you that life takes on a whole new dimension, that you'll be happier. You have a greater sense of happiness and fulfillment in life.
And that's how that is. Well, then how do you get more money? Simple answer. Somebody says, well, I'll go on strike for more. Well, here's a major problem with that. Here's a major problem with that. You can't get rich by demand. Somebody says, well, I'm waiting for a raise. I'm telling you, it's easier to climb than to wait for a raise. Why not just become more valuable rather than wait? I'm telling you, that's the key to all good things. Becoming more valuable. Why would we pay somebody $400 an hour? They've become more valuable to the marketplace. See how this works? I'm telling you, this stuff is so easy. This is America. This is a ladder. How far is it from 4 to 5? I'm telling you, it's not far. $4 to $5 an hour? If you work for McDonald's, haul out the trash, they'll pay you $5 an hour. If you whistle while you haul out the trash, they'll pay you $5 an hour. I'm telling you. You'll get an extra $1 just for a good attitude. Yay, McDonald's. Wear the hat. Incredible. $5, and then you just keep becoming more valuable, more valuable, more valuable. I got a telephone call 5 years ago. The company said, we're ready to expand internationally, we need some help. I was sort of semi-retired. Looking for the next exotic beach. They said, no, Mr. Rohn, we got a project for you. Right? Going to expand internationally, we could use your help. Next little while, we'll add some millions to your fortune, make it worth your while. I said, okay. I thought later, isn't that interesting that they called? My second thought was, of course they'd call. Who else would they call? I mean, you know, I could get the job done. Now, how come I got a telephone call worth millions? I had become valuable. Now, I'm a farm boy from Idaho. I was raised in obscurity. 1 year of college, and I thought I was thoroughly educated. Made all kinds of mistakes galore. At age 25, the creditors are calling me saying, hey, you told us the check was in the mail. I got pennies in my pocket. I got nothing in the bank. I'm behind on my promises. How come I get a telephone call 5 years ago and it's worth millions? I changed. I turned my life around. Is it possible to become worth millions? Speaking economically, now there's a lot of values to become. But let's just talk economics. Is it possible to become that valuable? And the answer is, of course, of course. Now let me give you the secret. Shoaff said, here's the secret, Mr. Rohn. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Once I got that, it turned my life around. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
People want to know how to stop the laziness, and they want to know how to stop the procrastination. And, they have some idea in their head, some kind of a vision of what they want to do. But they don't know where to start. They don't know where to start it, They don't know where to start. And so they say, hey, where do I start? And when's the best time to start? And I have a very simple answer for that. Here and now. That's it. You want to improve? You want to get better? You want to get on a workout program or a clean diet? You want to start a business? You want to write a book or make a movie or build a house or a computer or put together some mobile application? Where do you start? You start right here. And when do you start? You start right now. You initiate the action aggressively. You go. Because the idea isn't going to execute itself. And the book isn't going to write itself. And the weights out in the gym, they're not going to move themselves. You have to do it, and you have to do it now. And that means you got to stop thinking about it and stop dreaming about it and stop researching every aspect of it and reading all about it and debating the pros and cons of it. Just start doing it. Take that first step and make it happen. Get after it, and get after it here and now.
Do you have what it takes? I put that out there because if you thought that question was going to go away when you hit 40 and it didn't. If you thought that question was going to go away when you graduated high school and it didn't. If you thought that question was going to go away when you got married and it didn't. Now I want to say that over your life today, whether you believe it or not, that what God has purposed for you to accomplish is too important for you to leave your issues unconfronted. Sometimes you've got to take a stand for what you know God has called you to do. And sometimes that means standing against what others say, and sometimes that means taking a stand within yourself against yourself.
Those negative influences are choking out and they're limiting your life. Who you choose to surround yourself with, the environment you decide to plant yourself in has the potential to limit you or unlock you.
You are now a composite of everything you've been saying. Change your words and you'll begin to change your life. If you want to become something different, change what you are confessing. Change what you are saying. Words change the atmosphere of your life.
Maybe there's some relatives in your life who tell you why you'll never break that addiction, why you'll never be successful. Listen. These relationships, they may be keeping you from flourishing and becoming all God wants you to be.
Your current situation is not in charge of your future destination. Get your hopes up. Start believing. Start expecting. Expectation means to live life with an anticipation that I'm believing for more. It's time to raise your expectation. This word expectation, it is the ingredient of faith.
We all go through things that are unfair. People that do us wrong, the company let us go, came down with an illness. It's easy to live with a victim mentality, thinking we're at a disadvantage. We were shortchanged. We can't do anything great. Look at how we were raised. We can't love again. The last person hurt us. We can't live happy. We've been through too much. As long as you accept that you're a victim, you're going to get stuck. You may have been through unfair situations, but don't use it as an excuse to feel sorry for yourself, to give up on life, to not pursue your dreams.
You, friend, are a seed. You are full of potential, full of gifts, full of purpose. But if you plant yourself in unhealthy soil, if the environment and relationships you choose to surround yourself with aren't healthy, or they're filled with compromise and negativity, an environment with limited mindsets telling you what you can't accomplish, pulling you down, then you won't see the growth that you've been designed to experience.
What's most important is just keep focused and allowing yourself to be fueled by your faith. Yes, your faith is a down payment on your future. Focus on your faith, not your problems. Focus on your faith, not your bills. Focus on keeping yourself strong, living yourself and living from the inside out. Because the problems and challenges, they will always be there. Dimples was right when he had that song. If it ain't one thing, it's another. That's absolutely true.
Most people really want their lives to count. We want our lives to matter. We want to feel useful. We want to make a difference. We don't want to waste our lives. Instead, we want our lives to be productive. And you know, the people who are productive are the happiest when they're actually being productive. You're more happy when you are being more productive. Productivity is always about making the most of what you've been given. And this is true not just of people, but also businesses and organizations, even nations.
If you don't try to create the future you want, you must endure the future you get. I'm not creating my own future. I'm just enduring the future that comes to me. But the moment that I become intentional, the moment that I say, I have a choice, I can make a difference, I don't have to become a victim, the moment that happens within my life, I begin to create a better future for me. So the question is, do I wait for good things to happen, or do I work for good things to happen, which means I'm intentionally taking action to do my very best to make the best out of something that isn't so hot. I hope that you no longer wait for good things to happen for you and to you. I hope you begin to intentionally work to make them happen.
See, a lot of people are caught up in the distractions. A lot of people spend all kind of TV time and internet time watching old fights and sporting events. But this is no time to be a fan. This is no time to be a spectator. Listen to me. Listen to me. You have something special. You have greatness in you. But most people don't take the time to focus, to put in the effort, and the time to develop that greatness, to discover that greatness. And if you don't focus, if you don't put in the effort, if you don't work it, it doesn't work if you don't work it.
You see, there's definitely a time to focus on self-development, focusing on you, checking your attitude, checking your dreams, your plans. Self-development is critical. But may I propose another focus? Something that's key to you reaching your full potential? That's soil development. That means assessing your environment. It means assessing your relationships. Friend, you need to be selective right now with whom you give your time, energy, and attention to. Your potential, your dreams, they're real, but it may not be able to be realized in the limited environment that you're in right now.
And if you have this kind of mindset, there are things that God is going to do through you, for you, as you. And have this mindset. Even if you don't have two pennies to rub together, have this mindset. Even if you're going through foreclosure, I've been through that. All that, it doesn't mean anything. What matters most, not what happens to you, but what happens in you. Do what you have to do to reach your goal, to reach your dream, to change your life. Do what you have to do.
Listen to me. Most people give up when they're tired, but a disciplined person gives up when they're done. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your outcomes. Either suffer the price of discipline or suffer the price of regret. Inspiration gets you going, but it's discipline that keeps you growing.
Lay a disciplinary structure on yourself. Get the chaos in check, and then you can move towards a state that's freer. It's discipline first. Like, look, if you're going to become a concert pianist, there's going to be several thousand hours of extraordinarily disciplined practice. That's the imposition of order on your potential, let's say. But what comes out of that is a much grander freedom.
What is preventing most people from moving in the direction that they want to move is a lack of discipline. And no one wants to hear that answer. It's the harshest answer. Yeah. It's not cool. It's not good clickbait. Because the reason it's not good clickbait is because, well, you can put this as clickbait, the one reason most people don't succeed, right? But then as soon as you click on that clickbait and then it says discipline, they don't even read it because they don't want to hear it. Because what they actually, when they see that word discipline, it's actually a slap in the face because they know it's true, right? If you want to make progress in your life, you got to have discipline. Mm-hmm. That's how you get there. Discipline is the root of all good qualities.
Change is inevitable. So here's what's going to happen. No matter what's going on in your life, it's not permanent. Everything is going to change. So there's two things you can do with change. You can react to it or you can participate in it. So if you keep waiting around, you're going to have to react to the change. And now you're behind. But if you participate in the change, if you know the job you have is not going to last forever. I'm just telling you, COVID proved that already. So what you got to start doing is you got to start anticipating that it's going to change and just start living your life with the preparation for change. No matter what you're doing, you could be doing more. Remember that. It's 24 hours in a day. You got to use as many of those hours to prepare stability for yourself as you can. If you have any dreams of being rich, cannot sleep 8 hours a day. It's only 24 hours in a day. If you sleep 8 hours, that's a third of your life. How can you cannot be asleep a third of your life and become successful. You can't.
You know, we kind of have this idea that you have a certain delightful, wonderful, positive freedom as a child, and then that's given up as you approach adulthood. But the truth of the matter is that you have a lot of potential as a child, but none of that is capable of manifesting itself as freedom before you become disciplined. And discipline is a matter of the imposition of order, and the order is necessary, especially for people who are hopeless and nihilistic. And lots of people are hopeless and nihilistic. Way more people than you think. And part of that is because no one's ever really encouraged them.
Where there is no vision, the people perish. So the key to your life is finding a vision that imposes discipline on you.
Now, one thing I want to straighten out, big time. Discipline is not punishment. It's not. Discipline is training. That's all it is. If you change your mind, your mindset, and really focus it on what discipline really is, you start to welcome discipline. You welcome self-discipline into your life.
Here's the clue. Make rest a necessity, not an objective. The objective of life is not to rest. The objective of life is to act. Think of more disciplines. Think of more ways and means in which to use your own wisdom and your own philosophy, and use your own attitude, your own faith, your own courage, your own commitment, your own desires, your own excitement, Invest it in discipline so that it's not wasted. The smallest of discipline. Thereby transform your life. Join the 5%, join the 10%, join the 3%.
If you don't do that, if you get up and you just have no discipline whatsoever, you get no value of anything. If diets don't work when you don't do them, exercise doesn't work when you don't do them. But most of the people have some experiences that they want to shift. And once you shift those things, your whole life changes. But life is constant growth. My life isn't here because I went to one seminar one time and now my life is fit for life. I work out, I train my mind, I train my body, and it becomes a lifestyle.
I do think that and it's not just in sport, but with other things, I do believe that the more you repeat certain things, whether it is writing, working on your, whether it's cursive letters or whatever it is, like when you work on something and you keep doing it over and over, it's inevitable that it will get better. And by that, you're creating this feeling of repetition, which leads to discipline. Like, you can do it over and over again.
If discipline comes from somewhere else, it's very, very hard to remain consistent because you tend to resist. It's wild because I see trainers and they're in the gym with people and the guy or girl that they're working out hates their workout, hates it because the discipline is coming from somewhere else. It's something that you dread every time you go in. You don't really want to do it. It's like, but oh no, my trainer's here. He's about to, beat me up and make me feel crazy. Well, the truth is, every trainer should work his way out of your life. So you can go ahead, do your own workout, do your own thing, practice self-discipline.
Resilience is very different than being numb. Resilience means you experience, you feel, you fail, you hurt, but you keep going. When we are hit by a crisis, people that just kind of go numb, which basically means that I feel nothing, I'm not learning, I'm kind of like not even living, and that makes us a victim. When we go through the crisis, we don't go for numbness, we go for resilience, and resilience is alive, it is learning, and what happens is resilience makes us victorious. It's that resilience and remembering that you put in your heart, you store it in your heart. So the next time you have an obstacle, a difficulty, an adversity in your life, that resilience remembers. Don't allow the crisis to numb you. Be alive, learn, feel, fail, learn. That's what it's all about if you want to make this difficult time a good time.
Motivation doesn't get anything done. Motivation gets you going. Discipline, commitment, strong habits is what gets things done. Motivation is just a feeling. Grounded action is what gets things done. So here's my invitation to you. The next time you feel motivated, don't do anything grand and exciting or set any lofty expectations for yourself to like stay that way or whatever the case may be. Get a pad and paper and write down 1 or 2 things that you're going to commit to doing every single day, no matter what. You're gonna use that motivation to build a machine for yourself.
No matter how pessimistic, no matter how negative it looks today, you're going to come back. It's a time of the comeback. It's time to get up off the mat. If you've been knocked down, if you've been through something, if you've been through financial setback or some kind of terrible thing has hit you in your health or something's happened to your family, we need to believe that it's time for a comeback. It's no time to quit. It's no time to give up. It's no time to moan and groan. It's a time of the comeback.